Hello, my friends. It's Nicole with Guiding Echoes, the channel that encourages you to discover the wisdom of your soul. And in this pick a card, we are asking the question, what is sabotaging you and how can you get past it? So in order to participate in this pick a card reading, all you have to do is use your intuition and determine which pile is speaking to you. Which pile does your spirit, does your intuition want you to choose? So this is pile 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course 5. So just take a moment, see which pile chooses, or see which pile speaks to you, and I will have the timestamp in this description area down below so you can go ahead and skip ahead. So just again, if you need to, pause the video, use your intuition, and decide which pile is best for you. And let's go ahead and get started with group 1. Okay, and for those of you who chose pile 1, let's go ahead and see what your cards have to say. So the first card I have for you is Seer. The second card I have for you is the Moon. And the third card that I have for you is Luminous Warrior. Okay, so when we're asking the question, what is sabotaging you? We have this right here, the Seer. And so what this tells me is that you may be so focused on just one thing that it is hard for you to see the full picture. So let's say, for example, that you are wanting to work on creating more money, right? Maybe you want to get a job, maybe you want to invest in something, but you're so focused on just one thing that you can't really see the full picture. So if you're wanting to make more money, maybe you're becoming really laser focused on creating a budget. And while that's great, and while a budget will help you to save money, doesn't necessarily help you to create more money. So you may have to expand your vision and look at the other ways that you can bring more money in. So you may have to look at different ways of investing. You may have to look at the different skills that you offer and maybe different ways that you can become better at that so you can become stellar in your field. So again, when we look at Seer, we see that this is someone who has tunnel vision. So you have tunnel vision when it comes to something that you want to create or that you want to have in your life. And for some of you, this is regarding a relationship. This is regarding your love life, and it could be that you're so focused on one problem or on one area of the relationship that's not working, or maybe one area of the relationship that is working, and that's preventing you from seeing the whole picture. That's preventing you from seeing where the relationship's really going. It's preventing you from seeing what problems surround the relationship and how to fix those. And so again, there can be some danger in becoming fixated on just one thing, because as you know, life is made up of lots of different I want to say requirements, but we have a lot of different things that are happening in our life at any certain day. And so while focusing on one area sometimes can be good for the short term, not necessarily helpful for the long term. So again, we have that when it comes to how you're being sabotaged, your tunnel vision is playing a part in that. The second part that we have for this is the Moon. And the Moon, as you know, goes in cycles. And sometimes when we're going through our own cycles in life, we get to a point where maybe we're in a new moon, which means that things feel dark or we don't feel whole. And when that happens, when we're going through a season in life in which we don't feel whole, we can feel hopeless. We can feel depressed. We can feel as if whatever we do doesn't matter because there's just this emptiness and we don't know if we're ever going to be whole again. And so it can be that loss of vision. So kind of going with the Seer, that loss of vision, that loss of what it would look like to be whole, that loss of not being able to remember what it feels like to be whole, or maybe we've never really felt that way before. So we don't have a barometer that we can measure that against. And so we just kind of sit in this area, we stay in this area where we feel as if we're half a person or as if we're not valuable somehow. So it's really important to remember that just like the Moon, we all go through cycles. Sometimes we feel great, sometimes we feel horrible, sometimes things are going our way, sometimes they're not. But when they're not, when we feel as if we are in that dark space in our life, kind of like that dark night of the soul, it's really important for us to remember to keep going. That's not the end of our story, that there's still moments of joy and hope, and there's plenty of dreams to come true and miracles waiting for us. We just have to get through this dark period first, okay? And then the next card we have is Luminous Warrior. And so to me, this is maybe who you're striving to become. And this isn't the type of warrior that's like drawing their sword and becoming violent. Like, you're not being overly assertive and aggressive and overpowering to get your way. This is someone who's enlightened. This is someone who listens. This is someone who has great awareness of their situation. And this awareness, this ability to read the emotions of the room, to read the emotions of the environment, allow him to maneuver his way in that environment better. And also what's amazing when we look at this card is look at where the planets are lining up. So he has one, because these look like moons to me. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's Neptune or something. But he does have one area around about his forehead. So to me, this indicates his crown chakra and maybe his third eye chakra being open. And then down here, this looks to me to be his solar plexus chakra. So solar plexus is about your personality, your confidence, and how you present yourself to the world. And of course, crown chakra and third chakra are about your ability to receive information from the divine, and also your ability to not just see into the future, although that's how a lot of people see the third eye, but it can also be to project who you want to be into the future. So having a vision. So it's interesting how from the beginning, we have the seer, we have not being able to feel your way to wholeness. And then this card's kind of serving as advice and also saying you're just not confident in yourself, and you need to see yourself as this luminous warrior. So you need to envision yourself as the person that you want to be. And so the way that you're being sabotaged right now is very internal. It's that your vision may be small, or it's limited. You feel as if you're not whole, or maybe not just with the cycles. Maybe you feel as if your mood is really up and down. Like some day you feel great, next moment you're agitated, like your mood is really off. And because you're so moody, because you're so emotional, and this could be hormonal for some of you, because you're so emotional and your mood is going up and down so much, it's hard for you to hold on to a vision of the future, and it's hard for you to focus on any one thing. So that's a possibility too. And then again, we have this part right here where you just don't feel confident in yourself, and maybe you haven't really created a vision of who you want to be in the future. And so this card, in one way or another, is encouraging you to do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at your other cards. We have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, the Prince of Pentacles right side up, the Three of Wands, the Eight of Cups in reverse, and the Tower in reverse. Okay, so this is interesting. So we have right off the bat two Pentacle cards, and so Pentacles are about earthly things. It can also be about finances. But when I look at Pentacles in a tarot card reading, for me, this is so connected to your root chakra. So it makes me think about your feelings of safety and security in the world. And so what's interesting is with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, it tells me that you're not feeling safe, like you're not feeling secure in your environment or in yourself. So that kind of matches this card right here. We also have the Prince of Pentacles, and I feel like this is saying it's almost like, well, I want you to take a look at this card, because he's holding a pentacle out, he's looking at it, he's moving forward slowly. But what this represents to me as I'm looking at this, it's almost like, I almost see this as him being his heart, and it's like he's trying to give his heart away, and it's like, will someone please take this? Will someone please take this off of my chest? And it's as if you're looking for someone else to protect your heart. You're looking for someone else really that will almost tell you what to do. And so it's almost as if you've gotten to a point in your life where things are too much. they're just too much for you. And maybe you don't want to be responsible anymore. Maybe you're tired of your obligations. Maybe everything in life is just too much for you. And so you're at the point where you're almost open to a cult leader. You probably wouldn't put it that way, but you're open to someone that can come into your life and just kind of tell you what to do. And so this tells me that you're in really dire straits because you don't trust yourself. And that's what this boils down to. Like, you don't trust your own decisions. You don't trust life. You don't trust that you're safe. And so you feel like you're at a standstill. You feel like you're not moving. And that's why you're looking. That's why you're reaching out for someone else to help and really for someone to rescue you. Next card we have is the Three of Wands. Even though the traditional explanation of this card is self-employment, someone who's putting their products and services out into the world, I've always seen this card as being one that's kind of lonely, because I see it as someone who is standing on this hill like we have here, and this person looks like he's rich, like this person looks well-to-do, but all of these ships, they're either coming towards him or they're leaving him. And I feel as if, especially for this reading, that this is almost as if you feel as if people are moving on without you. You feel as if maybe you're seeing your friends get married, or maybe they're even getting divorced. People just seem to be doing better successfully and financially than you are. People just seem to have their lives together in a better way, a bigger way than you do. And so in some ways, you're feeling left behind. Maybe you're feeling a little envious, but there is some sense of sadness there. And this is also playing into your feelings of unworthiness. The next card I have for you is the Eight of Cups in reverse. And when the Eight of Cups is right side up, it shows someone walking away from something. And so usually we would assume that these 8 cups here are probably emptying. They probably represent things that are no longer good for this person, or at least no longer satisfying. And so this person's walking away, but this card is in reverse, which says that you're afraid to walk away. Or maybe it's not even an option for you right now. But because you feel insecure, because you don't have a clear vision of who you are, because your emotions are all over the place, or you're feeling as if you're in a dark place because you kind of have this tunnel vision where you're fixated on one thing, it's really hard for you to gather enough strength, enough courage, and enough vision, because you may not have that vision yet. It's hard to create a vision strong enough for you to want to walk away from this. Because even though you feel unsafe where you are and you don't feel all that secure, sometimes we choose the known over the unknown, because at least what is known to us is familiar. We know how to navigate through it. And so when we risk walking away from something, whether it's a relationship or a job or a community, we don't know when we're going to find a replacement for that. And there is a series of a period of loneliness and emptiness that can be exasperated and magnified when we choose to cut those people off, to cut that job off, to follow our dreams, or whatever it is. When we choose to walk away from something that's not good for us anymore, there is a period of grieving, and we don't know if we'll find something better or healthier. We just don't know. And so that can make it really hard to walk away. And that's when we start talking to ourselves like, well, yeah, my husband drinks and he can get physical sometimes, but I know that physically abusive, but I know that he really loves me deep down inside. And he doesn't mean to do those things. We talk ourselves into staying with something that's abusive. We talk ourselves into it. And we're like, yeah, we know this is bad. And yeah, I know I was lied to. And yeah, I know this person shouldn't have done that. And yeah, my boss did promise me that I would have this promotion by this time, but finances are hard for the company, or my spouse is going through a hard time. Whatever it is, we make excuses so that we feel good or comfortable about not walking away when we know that we should, right? So we desperately look for reasons to stay in a bad situation because starting over just seems too courageous, too scary, too crazy for us right now. And we don't always recognize that walking away is the best thing we can do for our health, and it might even fix all these things that we see up here. And then the next card I have is the Tower. So when the Tower is right side up, it's complete chaos. It's got these people, obviously, that are falling out of the building. Everything's on fire. It is just pure chaos. And so when the Tower is upside down, it is still chaos. But for me, in this reading especially, it's prophesying, I guess you could say, a slow death. So instead of you just walking away from something quickly, which would happen if this was the Eight of Cups, you'd be making the decision to walk away. And if the Tower was right side up, this would be like a quick action, right? It's quick, it's chaotic. Yeah, there's fire, there's a storm, there's all this stuff. It's happening at once, right? But these are in reverse. And so this is a slow death. And so what's really happening is while you're staying in this situation that you know you should be walking away from, you are slowly dying inside. And the things that you think are keeping you safe are actually hurting you. So this is a very, very slow progression. So this situation that you're in probably isn't going to get better. It's going to continue to get worse, but it's getting worse little by little. In fact, the image that I just got in my mind is of the Ten of Swords, and the Ten of Swords is like death by 1,000 cuts. And I see that happening. I see it like it starts with one cut and then a second cut and a third cut. And they're all little cuts. They're all very small. But after a while, you know, you get to the 100th, 500th cut or whatever it is, you're going to be bleeding out. You're going to be hurting. Your organs and everything are not going to be doing good. So it is a slow death. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to our other cards, because our next cards are going to give you some advice on how you can get past this, how you can get past this self-sabotage. So the first card I have for you, I'm going to go ahead and move these out of the way. Okay. Whoops. I'm still kind of getting used to this angle here. All right, so the first card I have is Breathing a New Age, and this says breathing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. Okay, well, that's interesting, because again, it goes with the seer. It goes with this projection of figuring out who you want to be and start taking steps to become that person. So this card is telling you, you really need to think about who you want to be. Start painting a picture of your perfect future. What does that look like? What type of house do you want to live in? What type of relationship do you want to have? What does a healthy relationship look like to you? What does a healthy community look like? In fact, you know what? What does a healthy you look like? How do you feel? How do you present yourself? How do you dress? How do you carry yourself? What thoughts are you thinking? How are you talking to yourself when you are your best self? Start thinking about that and really start creating that image in your mind, and do this every day, because this needs to be burned inside your brain. This needs to be tattooed in your brain so that you can always remember who it is you're striving to be and what type of future you're striving to have. And the next card we have is Starseed, What Lights You Up? So that's another thing to think about, like what lights you up. And so in this card, we see that you're in a state of darkness, or you're very emotional, right? There's things happening in your life. And again, like we said earlier, it could be hormonal, could be stress. There's a lot of things that could be going on that's causing your mood to go up and down, up and down, up and down. You're aggravated, you're happy, you're sad, you're joyful, you're just up and down. And maybe this is happening over a period of days or a period of hours. This can happen when you're so stressed that the chemicals in your mind and body don't know how to react anymore. So you're frazzled. No other way to put it. You're frazzled. You can start to rewire this. You can start to change that by thinking about what lights you up in this moment, in the now. What makes you feel good? What brings you feelings of joy, peace, and comfort? And these could be simple things that are even childish. It could be coloring. Maybe you really enjoy coloring. Go to a 99-cent store, go to a dollar store, go to a discount store, and maybe pick up a coloring book and some crayons or markers and see if that makes you feel good. Maybe writing short stories or poems or songs make you feel fantastic. Maybe picking up the guitar again or play the piano again will make you feel good. Maybe just listening to your favorite music lights you up. So start thinking about what lights you up and start incorporating elements of those into your life, because you don't have to restrict yourself from everything. Not everything that we enjoy, not everything that we love costs money. So if you're sitting there saying, well, I really enjoy shopping, but I don't have money for that. Or, I would really love to go on a vacation, but I don't have money for that. Okay, you don't have money for that. So find things that give you a mini break throughout your day and still bring you joy that you do have money for. Does your friend have a pool? Can you go to your friend's house and lay by the pool and have a mini vacation that way? Is there a place within driving distance to you that you can just walk around and clear your mind in? What's near you? What can you do that isn't going to cost a dime, or is going to cost a dime, but that a dime's affordable? Like, just start thinking about that, okay? So remember, creating a vision of your future, creating a vision of who you are is how you're going to get past the self-sabotage, and then also keeping in mind what lights you up. Start incorporating things into your life that make you feel good, and do this every single day. And then the last card I have for you is a affirmation card, and this says, I'm in awe of the magnificent guidance that's available to me. So what this card is doing is, one, it's giving you an affirmation. So this is something that you can start saying to yourself as you go into yourself and you start thinking to yourself, what is the best version of myself that I can project into the world today? And you sit with that question and you allow it to bubble up in your heart, in your being, in your soul, and you get that vision, right? You get that vision. And what will happen is, as you contemplate that, as you think about that, you are going to receive some direction. You are going to magically and magnificently think of some type of action that you can take that will guide you onto the path that you need to be to become that best version of yourself. So if you're someone who's largely disorganized, guilty, just so you know, for being honest, I'm largely disorganized, you can sit with that and start telling yourself, I'm an organized person. I'm the type of person who likes to have everything where it belongs. And you start thinking to yourself, okay, that's the person I want to be. That's the person I want to become. I'm an organized person. Well, what will happen as you sit with that thought and you start thinking about how to become more organized, your magnificent guidance system will pop up inside of you, and you'll start to come up with solutions that will help you to become more organized. So start adopting this belief that you're in awe of the magnificent guidance that's available to you. And then also remember that this magnificent guidance that's available to you, this doesn't just have to be an inner spirit thing. It doesn't have to be just your soul, although of course that's fantastic. But guidance is available everywhere. It's available obviously here on YouTube where you found this video, but it can be on the internet, it can be at the library, it can be through a friend, it can be through a counselor. Think of what it is that you need. What skill do you need? What type of person do you want to become? What type of dream did you give up on that you're ready to go forward again, and start finding the resources that will help you to have that thing, to gather the knowledge and everything you need so you can start going after that. So remember, you are in awe of the magnificent guidance that's available to you. Start telling yourself that as you go to the library, as you Google different articles, as you check out different books, as you watch different videos, so that you can, in fact, get out of the rut that you're in, get out of this feeling of being lost, and you create this vision of the future, and you do it with the help and guidance of the different mentors and lovely souls that have been there before you have. Because there's a lot of people out there who have been in your exact situation, And they figured out the formula. They've been through the dark night of the soul too. And so find those people, follow their advice, and always remember who you are. I hope that you found this helpful. If so, please remember to give this video a like and also leave a comment in the comment section down below. I'll see you next time. Okay, group number 2, let's go ahead and take a look at your cards. So the very first card I have for you is the Earth Keeper. Second card I have is the Arrow. And the third card I have for you is the Rattle. So remember, we're asking, what is sabotaging you? So as I'm looking at these cards, we're going to tune into them one by one. And the first card with the Earth Keeper makes me feel as if you are someone who feels responsible for everyone in your environment. So this could be that you feel responsible for your kids, for your husband, for your parents, for your neighbors. You're someone who takes on a lot of responsibility. And you do this because you have a really good heart. Like, you're not this way because you're a control freak. You're this way because you're sincerely compassionate, nurturing, and caring when it comes to the people around you. And so as someone who has those qualities, it can be really hard for you when your child makes a wrong decision, or when someone you love gets hurt and you immediately want to go in there and swoop in there and fix everything. And the problem is that when we become the rescuer, when we try to fix other people's problems for them, they don't learn the lesson that they're supposed to learn from that experience. And so while it's hard to sit back and let people make poor decisions, and while it's hard to allow people to try to figure out how to best solve a problem that they created, unless of course they come to us and ask for our help, it can be really hard to just sit back and observe this, because we know where their actions are leading, right? We know that they're creating havoc for themselves. So again, part of what's sabotaging you is that you're so worried and so concerned about other people that you're not really putting enough stock in your own life. So you're more concerned about, say, your friend's mom than you are about yourself. You're more concerned about your child's PTA meeting and how that's going to go than you are about whether or not you're taking good care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. So your energy is spread out in a lot of different places, and it's because you're a caring, nurturing person, but you have to be caring and nurturing when it comes to yourself too. The next card we have for you is the Arrow. So again, thinking about how you're being sabotaged. I feel like the way that you're being sabotaged is that, we're talking about all these people that you care about, and I feel that you might be so nurturing and sweet that you don't always recognize it when people are throwing arrows at you. In fact, what came to my mind is, do you watch the show Young Sheldon? It's one of my favorite shows on TV right now. But Sheldon's mom is just the sweetest. She's a little spitfire. Like, she can get angry, and when people talk bad about her family or her church, and she can be uppity about that, but she's such a sweet person. Like, she's always trying to do what's right. She's always trying to do what's right in the eyes of the Lord, and what's right with her, what's right for her family, and what's right for Sheldon, because he can be a handful, and what's right for Missy because she can be a handful. And because she's so sweet and because she's so loving, there are a lot of people, including her own family, that take shots at her. They take cheap shots at her. And while she'll get upset about it, she's quick to forgive. Like, she may fume about it for a little while, but then she prays and she feels better. But that doesn't necessarily correct the situation. It's just she bounces back from those insults quickly because she has a good sense of who she is. And for her, her faith and her strength is in Christ because she's a Christian. And so that helps her to stay centered. But the potential issue with allowing people to take those cheap shots at her is, it's one thing if it's her family, it's another if it's a friend or a neighbor or someone who clearly doesn't like her. And so she has this need to be liked and accepted, as we all do, but she goes a little overboard sometimes. And so I feel like this card is saying the same thing about you. Like, you're so sweet and you're so loving and you care about your family and you care about other people, that sometimes when people take these cheap shots at you, you just either let them fly by you and you're like, what, that was a close call. That almost hurt, but it didn't. Or if it does hurt you, if it does leave a little bit of a scar, you still go back to that person. You're still trying to make amends with them, even though they did you wrong. And so one of the ways that you're possibly sabotaging yourself is by caring for people who don't care for you, by getting too close to people who are purposely pulling the bow and arrow towards you. And you need to pay attention to that, because it's not okay when people hurt you, especially when it's on purpose, because that's the other thing that's coming to mind. Is I see someone who's actually malicious, who's gossiping about you, who's saying things about you that aren't nice. In fact, the word that's coming to me, or the phrase that's coming to me, is the tongue is sharper than a double-edged sword. And that's how I feel this is happening. So I feel like and this does feel like, it feels like a PTA. So that may not be what this actually is. It's just has that energy of that, like group of moms, a group of catty moms. So it could be some type of a community, could even be at your work. But someone who's purposely gossiping about you and saying mean things about you and wants it to get back to you. But then if you were to approach her and say, hey, I heard you said this about me. Oh, honey, I would never say that. Or, oh, well, that was taken out of context. Like, there's going to be some type of excuse for what was said. So one of the ways that you're being sabotaged, again, is someone who is actively hurting you, who's doing it on purpose, who's doing it kind of in these small, malevolent ways. And you just want to be really careful with that type of person. When someone is actively hurting you and wanting to destroy you, like wanting to hurt you, whether it's because they're jealous of you or they just get some sick satisfaction from knowing they've hurt you, that's not someone whose approval you need. That's not someone whose praise that you need. That's not someone that you need to win over. You can be courteous to them, sure, but don't go out of your way for them. Like, don't bake them their favorite cookies on their birthday trying to win them over, because that's the type of person you are. Like, you want to win everyone over. You want everyone to like you, but you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And some people are just mean. Some people just aren't worth your time. So don't allow that type of personality to get the better of you, okay? So that's one way you're being sabotaged, is someone who's gossiping and actively seeking to hurt you, someone who doesn't want you to succeed at anything. And then the next card we have is the rattle. So this is things that are being shaken up. But as I'm asking the question about sabotage, the rattle, what comes up for me is I actually think of a rattlesnake. And a rattlesnake obviously is very dangerous. Aside from being a snake, which not a lot of people like because they're slithering and they're kind of scary. You know, if you're not expecting to see a snake when you're walking somewhere and you see one, it can be a little off-putting. And a rattlesnake, of course, is giving you a warning, but they're also venomous. They're poisonous. They're mean, right? They actively and aggressively go after you. When we're asking what's sabotaging you, it could be that you're someone who doesn't heed the warnings. When you hear the rattle, when you see the signs of a rattlesnake, you're not running the other way as you should be. You're actually going up and trying to pet its head. And obviously I'm using this allegorically. I don't mean this is really what you're doing, but going back to this person, we talked about there's someone who's maliciously trying to take you down or tear you down with their words and with gossip and whatnot. You're trying to appease that person. So it's coming up again in this card. So just be just be mindful of who you give your attention and energy to, but also pay attention to the warning signs, because this didn't come out of nowhere. There were warning signs. So, and also remember, like, there's this saying that if they'll do it with you, they'll do it to you. It's actually one of my favorite sayings. And what that means is that if someone is comfortable gossiping with you about someone else, then the moment your back is turned, they're going to gossip about you to someone else. If you go out to lunch with someone and you notice that they're rude to the waiter, that's them shaking their rattle. That's them showing you who they really are. And if they're rude to a waiter, then the moment that they don't need anything out of you, or the moment they feel like you're indebted to them or you have some type of servitude towards them, they'll treat you just as rude or worse than they were to the waiter. So pay attention to those warning signs that people are sending out, okay? All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at your tarot cards. Your first card is, let me go ahead and move these aside because we don't really need those anymore. Probably refer to them a little bit. Okay, so your first card is the Three of Pentacles in reverse, the Six of Cups right side up, the Princess of Wands, the Ten of Cups, and the High Priestess. Look at that. So you are clearly a very, very intuitive person. Oh my goodness, look at this. Okay, so with the Three of Pentacles in reverse, this is saying that you don't feel as if you have full control of your household right now. It's like everyone else is doing all these different things, and you're probably feeling scattered. You're feeling overwhelmed. You're feeling like you can't keep up with the kids' soccer practice. You can't keep up with Marianne's flute lessons, whatever it is. You're just finding yourself on thin ice, because since you are someone who is kind of the main caretaker for your family, you really feel as if everything is in disarray right now. And the next card that I have for you is the Six of Cups. And so the Six of Cups has such a sweet energy to it, doesn't it? So the Six of Cups, we have this boy right here giving some flowers to the girl. We have this creepy guy back there who's watching the whole thing. Probably a dad or grandpa or some type of parental figure. So there's two different ways to look at this card. Some people feel it's a very nostalgic card, but I see it as a card of giving, of warmth. And when I'm looking at this card, I feel like it's saying that one of the ways for you to ease your burden is to allow people to give to you. Give yourself permission to receive, because you really have gone above and beyond for a lot of different people in your life. And when they try to pay it back, you're like, oh, no, I couldn't take that from you. Or if someone like invites you over to dinner, you automatically feel like you have to invite them over to dinner soon, quickly, right? Or they invite you over to dinner and they say, oh no, don't worry about bringing anything, but you bake up some brownies and you bring over a bottle of wine anyway. So just give yourself permission to be served. Let people serve you. Let people give to you. And don't feel as if you have to give anything back, because not all gifts come with obligation. Right? So that's something to keep in mind. In fact, if someone is giving you something because they want something out of you later on, that's manipulation. That's them using a social construct in a way that is manipulative. It's not a real gift if there's an obligation or responsibility tied to it. So just in the same way that you're loving and giving towards other people, allow others to be loving and giving towards you, okay? So next we have the Princess of Wands, and wands are associated with the element of fire. So the Princess of Wands is someone who is passionate. She's, to me, the way she's standing is kind of sexy, actually. So she's also very confident, but she is creative. She's passionate about something. She's confident in herself. And she has this, I want to say this sassy, sexy, come hither me walk to her. And I feel like for you, a lot of people watching this who picked this pile don't see themselves as sexy. You may see yourself as confident, sure, but you don't see yourself as sexy. So I feel like there's a part of this that's saying, give yourself permission to feel some passion again. Like give yourself permission to bring forth and bring back that sexual energy and have fun in the bedroom with your partner, and just give yourself permission to act out on that. That may be one of the ways that you kind of allow yourself to feel loved, to, you know, have someone serve you, let someone serve you in the bedroom, you know. So again, this is about passion, but it can also be about creativity and giving yourself permission to be more creative, to do something for yourself. And so as I'm tuning into this card, I feel for some of you that can be very artful. It could be pottery, it can be actually painting your walls, because I feel like that kind of goes back to this card. Remember, we said you're frustrated because your house is in disarray. And while that's true, I also feel like these two together are kind of saying that you would feel a lot better if you changed your environment. And I don't feel this is saying that you'd feel better if you moved. It's more like this, you would feel better if you painted the walls and if you hung up new pictures, you know, if you put new fat heads up on the wall or something like that, rearrange the furniture. But also I feel like this would be really fun for you if you got the family involved in this. So like the kids are helping you paint. You guys are all figuring out what new furniture you want to build together. So there is some creativity here, but it also gets everyone involved. And then also, again, think about what makes you happy, what makes you feel vibrant, what will help you to feel sexy and confident and alluring. Again, because I feel like you've lost yourself, I feel like you've lost your identity because you are taking care of so many other people. So just start to wring some of that back so you can take care of yourself, so you can feel attractive, so you can feel good in your body again, and you can have that like sexy hairstyle and pretty clothes. Like, treat yourself to that. You deserve it. The next cup, the next card we have is the 10 of Cups. This card is so cute. Just look at this little girl. She's got her arms out and she's carefree. And we have this couple back here, and they're very loving, and just everything about this card screams good energy. You know, which scream in a good way, that is. But it's so vibrant, it's so sweet. And so because you are someone who's family oriented, I feel like this card is saying, hey, relax, you're doing a great job. Like, your family loves you. You have a roof over your head. Whatever struggle it is that you guys are facing as a family, you're going to get through it as a family, and you're going to be all the more better for it. So yeah, there may be some challenges ahead. There may be some uncomfortable experiences that take place, but you're going to get closer, and whatever you've lost is going to come back to you tenfold. Things are working out in your favor, even if it doesn't seem that way right now. But just remember that you are divinely loved and fully loved because of how sweet you are, because of how nurturing you are. And just look at how happy these kids are. So even if you're wondering, are my kids really happy? You know, they're going into that teenage stage, they're kind of giving me attitude. I don't know if if it's just hormones or what. This card is showing you that your kids, they know that they're loved. They know that they're loved, okay? The other thing that I get from this card in terms of advice, because we are asking how you can get past anything that's sabotaging you, is I feel like this is encouraging more family time together, doing things that are fun. If your kids are young enough to still enjoy things like family board games and family picnics and things like that, take them out to that. But if they're older and maybe that's not their speed anymore, maybe they prefer to go to a baseball game, you know, something like that. So just put your heads together and think about what's something fun that you guys can do together. And, you know, of course, ask your family, maybe put together like, one of the things that can be fun is have everyone write out 3 different things that they'd each like to do as a family, and then you kind of take those pieces of paper, you take what they write and you put it in a bowl, you mix it up, and then you pick one out and everyone votes if that's something they want to do or not. So that's something that you can try. And then the last card I have for you is the High Priestess, and the High Priestess is extremely intuitive. She's almost intimidating, and I feel that you don't know this, but you can be intimidating to other people because you're so nice, and because even though you feel like you don't have your act together, even though you feel as if your home is in disarray, other people look at you with such admiration and respect, and they're like, how does she do it all? Like, seriously, how does she do it all? How does she have the energy? How does she have the discipline? How is she able to maintain that great attitude? How is she still so friendly? How is she still so freaking beautiful and adorable? There are people who want to be you. I'm serious. There's people out there who want to be you. They're envious of you because, like I said, you don't know it because you feel like you don't have your act together, but people are watching you and they think you do. They're amazed by your power, by your energy, by your niceness, by your ability to handle these people, the rattlesnakes. You know, you impress a lot of people, and I don't think you hear that enough, and I don't think you know that about yourself. And so that's what I see with this high priestess. So just remember that there are people who are looking up to you. And I know that seems like some of you are watching this and you're like, what? Nah, that can't be right. But it is. I promise you it is. There's people that are looking up to you and they want to be like you. And so I want you to remember that about yourself, because that might help you with your confidence. And I also want you to really just take a moment at some point to think about your life over the last 10 years, because I want you to see what all you have overcame. I want you to see the strength that you've developed. I want you to see how your personality has developed for the better. I want you to really take a look at the evolution that has been you and how you've become this amazing, enchanting, beautiful, intuitive, wonderful woman. And just really think about some of those times where the odds were against you, but you overcame. And whatever's happening in your life, you're going to continue to be victorious over it, okay? So you have all this beautiful energy around you. And let's go ahead and see what your other cards have to say. So let's go ahead and move these aside. And, okay, so your next cards are Lumeria and play. Okay, well that's funny because we talked about playing the 10 of Cups, didn't we? And I never look at these cards before I pull them, so I'm just as surprised as you are. So in Lumeria, it says creating heaven on earth. It's happening. I feel like you're already doing this, and you are creating, oh wait, we talked about this, right? As far as creating a new environment, creating heaven on earth. Yeah, so that's kind of what you're doing. You're creating heaven in your home environment. You're actually creating heaven for the people around you because you do pay so much attention to them, and you do love them, and you do want what's best for them, and you do essentially try to make life easier for everyone around you. So you're doing a great job of creating heaven for other people. While you're doing that, in some ways you are creating heaven for yourself because you love giving. You love nurturing, you love serving. It's inside of you. That's who you need to be. So I would just caution you to remember to make sure that your needs are met as well, because I think that's where you stray sometimes. And again, your environment is so important. So I really want you to think about what makes you feel good when you get up each day. Does having fresh flowers on your dining room table feel good to you? Does having maybe some essential oils going in a diffuser, does that lift up your mood and your spirits? So I don't know why I keep getting the sense that environment is so important for you, but that's something that just keeps coming up for me over and over again, especially with this card, creating heaven on earth. So think of earth as your home and heaven as whatever you want your home life to be, and start working towards that. And then of course the next card we have is play, and that's something we already talked about, right? So we talked about creating more time with your family in a way that is playful. We even mentioned board games. So creating time with your family and spending more time with them in a way that is playful and fun, because the problem is that sometimes in the family units, everything becomes about work. It becomes about, did you pick up after yourself? Did you do your homework? You know, why didn't you vacuum? And so that does need to be balanced out with times of, hey, let's go ahead and, pack up some lunches and drive over to the mountains and go for a hike. You need to be able to incorporate some of that too, because that's where good memories are made. That's how good bonds are formed within family units. So just think about different ways that you can play with your family and even your friends some more. Going out for drinks with your friends, having maybe organizing a bunko night or something like that could be a lot of fun for you. Okay, and let's go ahead and pull your last card, and this is going to be your affirmation, and this says, I am patient, knowing that whatever is of the highest good is coming to me. So yeah, you probably get a little impatient. Who doesn't, right? So this card is just a reminder that good things are coming to you. So again, I am patient, knowing that whatever is of the highest good is coming to me. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumb up. And also, if you'd like, you can leave a comment in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Hey everyone who chose group number 3, let's go ahead and take a look at your cards. The very first card that I have for you is Magic. The second card I have for you is Stand Still. And the next card that I have for you is the Sacrifice. Okay, so as we are asking the question, what's sabotaging you? There's actually 2 things coming into mind with this Magic card. So the first thing is that what's sabotaging you may be actual magic. It may be that someone has used magic against you. They could have done a binding spell. They may have done a glamour. There's something manipulative. There's something with manipulative and ill intent that was done to either make you bend to their will, get you to do something that they wanted you to do, or they wanted to see you fall. So the difference there is that when someone is trying to bend your will and get you to do what they want to do, that's probably a narcissist, right? That's someone who wants you to cater to them, to date them. Maybe they did a love spell. So there's something that they did to get you to favor them, to push your will in their direction. So that's not, when people do that, they don't mean for that to be harmful. They just really want you. Like, they want your attention. They like you, or they want something from you. And so in that case, that can be just as dangerous, because in that case, like I said, you're working with a narcissist who sees you as some form of supply, or you're working with an opportunist. And so either way, that type of magic isn't good, because again, magic is being used to get you to do something that you would not do on your own. Or if you were going to do it on your own, maybe you would do it differently. So there's a bit of non-sexy dominance at play when it comes to that form of magic. The second type would be a full-on curse, where someone wants to see you fall. They want to see you fail at something. And so I do have a video here. I'll link to it on the different signs that you're cursed, and you can check that out and see if it feels like you or not. The second thing that I would say regarding the Magic card is that when we're thinking of what's sabotaging you, it could be that you don't believe in your own magic. And magic isn't just a ritual. It's not in using oils and candles and herbs and saying some incantation to make something happen. Magic is simply the words that we speak and the vision that we hold in our mind. So if you've ever done any type of work with like the law of attraction or trying to manifest something, that is magic right there. That alone is magic. If you've ever made a wish on a star or blew out birthday candles, that's magic. So you may not be believing in your own magic. And if you don't believe in your own magic, it's not going to work, because belief is a big part of that. Okay, so that's a few different ways that you may be being sabotaged. The next card is Stand Still. If you're sabotaging yourself through Stand Still, that means that you're not doing the things that you know you should be doing. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not doing anything. You may be a busybody, but you're not doing the things that would move you towards your goal. You're not doing the things that would move you towards the type of life that you want to have. So if you're someone who wants to be more social, but you're staying home on Friday nights and You're rejecting every invite that you get to go out. You may still be cleaning the bathroom, cleaning the kitchen, doing all this busy work, but staying at home and being busy is not going to help you with your goal to become more social and to make new friends. Next card we have is the sacrifice. Well, that's interesting to me because this tells me even more that some of you guys may actually be under a curse, like some type of magic was done on you, and that's why you're being sabotaged. I think someone did magic on you. It halted your progress, and the sacrifice is at your expense, really. For example, let's say that you have some type of project that you want to create. Maybe you want to write a script. So you want to write a script. You have an idea for this movie and you desperately want to write this script or write this story. And someone came along and he or she ended up having this magic or this intense crush on you and started to use magic, maybe some type of a domination spell, to get you to think about him or her all the time. Like all the time. And so now when you sit down to write this script, what you're thinking about is actually this other person, and that's really distracting, and it's not helping you to move forward in your goal of writing the script, because now all you can do is think about this other person, so you're at a standstill. And the sacrifice is that you're not able to get this thing done. Now you're spending all your time on the phone with this person, or you're texting, or you're thinking about them, and you're making plans for the future, and all of that may be fine and dandy, but it's not actually something that's really been done in your free will. This was legit magic that was done really kind of against you. And so this person may have done an actual sacrifice, and I don't mean like she killed a chicken or anything like that. I mean like an actual ritual was performed. So maybe this person actually went out and bought all of the items necessary for that magic spell, or she paid someone to do the spell on her behalf. And so in that instance, the sacrifice would have been the time that she spent or the money that she spent to get the items needed to create that spell. So the more I'm looking at this, the more I feel like some of you are under an actual glamour, you're under an actual binding. So there is actual magic working against you. So if you've been thinking to yourself, gosh, I've been taking all the right steps, but they're leading to the wrong outcome, like I'm doing the right thing, but the wrong thing's happening, it might very well be a spell. So that's possibly what's sabotaging you. So let's go ahead and take a look at your tarot cards and see if tarot can give us more insight on this. So we have the Star, the Hierophant in reverse, the Two of Pentacles, Death in reverse. That's interesting. And the Two of Cups. Okay, group number three. It's very possible someone did do a love spell on you, because the Two of Cups card came up on this. And look at, and yeah, I know I'm jumping ahead of all these, but look at how this person is just so in love. And it's like he's holding this woman, and it's like, I get like this smugness, like this arrogance, like I captured her, and she doesn't know a spell was done on her. She's just giving in. She's surrendering to this guy because she trusts him and she's in love with him. And, you know, they're lost in this moment. So he's like, my spell succeeded. I got the girl. And she's like, what spell? I'm in love with this guy. So yeah, number three, I do think that there was a love spell done on you. So you definitely need to take a look at that. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through your cards. So here we have the Star, and the Star is about direction. So even if there has been some type of magic done on you, what you need to do to claim your magic back and to essentially end this spell is you need to get really, really clear on the direction you're going in your own life. So back to that whole example of writing a script, you need to really focus on writing that script. You need your script, you need your idea, you need your characters, you need the plot, the storyline, all of it to just consume your mind. And what you can do for that is sit down, close your eyes, and visualize the characters and start talking to them. Just really allow yourself to get absorbed by whatever this goal is, okay? So that's how you can gain some direction back. The other thing that you can do is talk to somebody who has already achieved what it is that you want to do. So going back, of course, to this whole writing the script thing, if you're a writer, if you have a friend who's written a script, go talk to them. Start spending a lot of time with that person. If you don't have a friend that's done that, find an online group and get really active in there. Start consuming all of the information that you can on script writing, on getting published, submitting your script to different producers and production companies. Just get very, very clear on this intent. And if you find that that doesn't work because someone else keeps sneaking into your mind, you may have to do an actual curse breaking session. And so if you don't have close ties to this person, what you can do is you can just visualize in your mind a cord between you and the person who may have sent you this curse, because you, at this point, you would know who sent it because they would be on your mind all the time. So visualize who it is that's on your mind all the time, and imagine that there's a silver thread between the two of you, connecting the two of you together. And in your mind's eye, just take a pair of scissors and poof, cut that cord. And notice that the side of the cord that's connected to you, it kind of reels back in and in through your heart chakra and, you know, through your chest. And then that's it. You know, there's no cord hanging out of you anymore. So that's one thing you can do, is you can cut the cord and make it your intention that you're taking your power back. So that's what you would say is, I'm taking my power back. I claim that this magic has no power over me, and I take my magic and my power back. So you can say something like that, all right? So after that, hopefully you'll be able to put your attention back on where it was that you were originally going. The next card I have for you is the Hierophant in reverse. The Hierophant right side up can be about a religious organization. It can also be about just getting organized. But as I'm tuning into this, and again, we're talking about magic may have been done against you. Yeah, I feel like this is just saying that you may need to incorporate your own magic to work against this. So your own magic may be, like, if you are a Christian, or if you do have an actual religion that you're a part of, get familiar with how they deal with that type of a situation. Christians would pray against it. Christians would use the name of Jesus to rebuke whatever curse or spell was done on them. So you can do that. Catholics, I know a lot of time, they'll use the Saint Michael Angel Protection Prayer, which I don't know, but I've heard of other Catholics doing that. So I'm not really familiar with what all religions do in order to negate negative energy away from them or to ward off a spell, but most of them do have something. So if you're strong in some type of faith, find out what your faith would recommend, because that's most likely what would work for you. That makes sense? I hope it does. And the reason I feel like this is in reverse and not right side up is because this person is working against your faith. Whenever someone does a spell on you, unless you've asked them to do it, like, unless you've given them permission, they're kind of stepping on your free will, right? So I feel like that's why this is in reverse, is because someone has taken action against you for their own favor, for their own benefit, and in that way, they're disrespecting your own spiritual beliefs, your religious beliefs, who you are as a person, what it is that you're going after. Like, they may not care. And if they do care, it's because they think they'll benefit from it somehow. So it's not a good situation. Next card we have is the Two of Pentacles. So this is about you trying to balance things and figure out what's more important than the other thing. And again, I feel like that's this, and we've already talked about the magical enough. So we're gonna go by that, because yeah, you are trying to juggle, like, do I go ahead and get with this person, like she's on my mind all the time, or he's on my mind all the time, or do I work on this project that I've been going after for forever? It's like your mind is split. And the advice in this whole deck is, or in this reading, is go after your goal. The next card we have is Death in Reverse. This tells me that you're going to overcome the spell. So whatever ritual or curse or binding or whatever was done that was not in your favor, it's about to be reversed. So this is not going to be the death of you. That's good news. It may annoy you for a while, but it's not the death of you. So this is actually, it's going to work out. It's going to turn around. You're going to be fine. And then the Two of Cups, right side up, because you walk away from this person, and because you end this spell, and because you end the curse, if it is in fact a curse, this tells me that it actually does open up the doors for you to find, like, if you are single and you are looking for a soulmate or partner, you do actually end up finding one of your own free will. And the other thing coming out of this card is that you end up finding a community. I don't feel like it's just one person. I feel like you end up finding a community that believes in you, that wants to see you succeed at your goal. So again, we were talking about if you're a writer, right? If you're creating the script, you might find a group of writers that you really click with, that you really connect with, and you may end up having a special connection with one or two people there, where you end up feeling like that best friend energy, or you guys have this amazing charisma together. And it may not be romantic, it may just be a platonic good friendship, like I said, best friend energy. And so that's a possibility too. Could also be that you do end up in a partnership, in a business partnership, where your script is completed. You do in fact complete the script, and you're able to find a production company or producer that wants to bring life to your script. So, and remember, I'm just using script as an example. So if you're sitting there saying, I'm not writing any script, Nicole, that's fine. I'm talking about whatever goal you have for yourself. And it does feel like more of a business goal, but it may not be that for everybody. So it does look as if this comes into fruition. So you do have the right people, the right resources, divine appointments unfold for you, and you do end up getting exactly what it is that you want. So just be aware that there is legit magic working against you. You are going to have to fight it, and you are going to be victorious against it, and you're going to get exactly what it is that you want. So that magic is no longer going to be effective against you. So let's go ahead and take a look at your two other cards. I have for you transformation. It says things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. And answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? So I think we kind of answered this already. And if not, if you're feeling lost, I really want you to stop and go into yourself. Like, close your eyes. Really think about what your soul is calling you to do. Just sit with that for a few moments and see what comes up. And if you are so overwhelmed by life right now, or if you're so depressed right now, this answer may not come up right away, and that's okay. The more you sit with this question, the more you contemplate it, you'll find that the answer will start to reveal itself. So it may not do this in the first session, the second session, the third session, but keep trying anyway, because your soul is infinitely wise, and it will respond when it knows you're ready. So just be patient and keep putting that question out there, like, what does my soul want me to do? And I actually feel like this should be in reverse, because it's really not until we know what our soul wants us to do that we can start making that transformation. So it's possible that there's some type of transformation that's already happening inside of you, because every day that we live, we change a little bit, right? Like, we get new cells, we shed cells, we get new ones. We watch an amazing YouTube video and we gain a new bit of knowledge. We talk to a friend, we learn something new. We stub our toe on a step that we didn't know was there. The next day we know that step's there, so we're not going to stub our toe again. So like, every single day we are changing. Whether we're improving or not is a different story, but we are changing. So think about the transformation that you want to happen in your life. Think about this goal that you have and how you can continue to move towards it. Become obsessed with it, not to the point where you forget to eat and sleep or anything like that, but to where you have that focus that allows you to get there and allow that transformation to take place. All right, so your very last card is your affirmation card. And this says, spiritual alignment puts my manifestation into motion. So, spiritual alignment. Getting back to this magic card, I want you to know that you can use magic in your favor. You absolutely can. So, even though we know someone was using magic against you, I want you to think about how you can use magic for you. You can use different oil blends to enhance your creativity. You can use different oil blends to enhance your beauty, even like whatever it is that you want to enhance in your life. There's different oils for that. There's different herbs, and you can make a ritual out of it. You can say affirmations. You can burn candles. You can learn about candle magic. Candle magic has become a passion of mine. But also what you say, what you think, what you journal, the images that you hold in your mind, that's all a form of magic because it's all a form of manifesting. So I really want you to think about how you can use magic to better your life. And when you're using magic to better your life, I feel like it does bring your soul into alignment. I feel like direction and guidance comes to you when you least expect it. You'll start to notice amazing synchronicities. Like, for example, a couple days ago, I was having a really rough day and I was praying and I was even crying. Like, I was just like having a really rough day, and I was like, I just need someone to talk to, and I don't feel like I have anybody. And no sooner had I prayed those words did I get a text message from my friend Jordan. She's like, oh my God, Nicole, are you okay? I just suddenly got this feeling that you were having a rough time and that you needed me. I hadn't spoken to Jordan in weeks. So it's pretty amazing what happens when you pray, when you have a connection to source, when you're in spiritual alignment, because the moment you send an SOS out to the universe, it responds. It may not respond in the way that you think it will, which just makes it that much more magical, but it absolutely will respond. So again, your affirmation is spiritual alignment puts my manifestation into motion. I hope you'll remember this. I hope you'll say it to yourself frequently. I hope that if you do find someone's using magic against you, that you will put a stop to that and that you will start using magic for yourself to create whatever beautiful life it is that you deserve and you desire. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, please give it a thumb up. And of course, you can leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, group 4, let's go ahead and take a look at your cards. And so the very first card that I have for you is the Beloved. The second card that I have for you is the Hummingbird, and the third card that I have is the Lightning. So when we're asking the question, what is sabotaging you? The first card, of course, is the Beloved. And so to me, this represents that you're being sabotaged by your spouse, by your partner, by your boyfriend, by your girlfriend. And so perhaps the sabotage is coming in the form of you being so in love and so self-sacrificing that you've lost yourself in this relationship. Or it could be that your spouse, your partner, has big dreams and big aspirations. Maybe they want to be a musician, maybe they want to be a writer, whatever the case is, you've invested a lot into them to help them gain this goal, to help them proceed, to help them accomplish what it is that they desire. And what I feel for you is I feel that you're really frustrated by this. I feel like you've probably been working really hard, and in the meantime, it seems like they haven't been working at all. Maybe they're lazy, maybe they're just not putting their all into that goal. And so in some ways, you feel as if you've invested in their goal more than they have. And that can be really frustrating for you because in some ways, you've put your own goal aside, you've put your own dreams aside, And you've invested so much in this relationship that to see your partner not moving forward in this anymore is really detrimental. It's really frustrating to you. So I don't know if this person's given up. I don't know if your spouse has really given up per se, but it does look as if they're not moving as quickly as they could be. Like they're not as invested in their own dream as you even are, because it feels like you're more invested in their dream than they are, and it feels like they're just not pursuing it very hard. The image I'm getting in my head is of someone playing a guitar, and he gets lazy and he ends up just kind of watching TV, and he might pick up his guitar and practice a little bit. What he really should be doing is writing out his songs, busting out some samples on SoundCloud. Like there's things that he could be doing, booking his shows, finding a booking manager to get him booked in different music venues. So this is someone who isn't working as hard as they can be. And you're at the point now where you have to wonder if this person is as serious about this goal as you said. And this could even be a relationship goal. It could be that your spouse has become really lazy in your relationship, or your partner's become lazy in this relationship. So he or she just isn't devoting much into it at all. And you feel like you're the one pouring all the energy into it. The other way that this could be manifesting is if your spouse is highly toxic. So they could either be apathetic, where they don't really seem to care what you do and they just kind of have their own life going on. It could be in verbal put downs and insults. It could be showing up in ways that are extremely passive aggressive. But one way or another, this is someone who you're tied to, you're in a romantic relationship with, and probably have been for some time. And this person is quite possibly a narcissist, or at the very least, someone who's very toxic, and most likely they're not trying to better themselves. That's really what I'm getting from this card, is this is someone who's just toxic. They don't care. Like they literally just don't care about you and the bad situation they've put you in. They might say that they do, but when you watch their actions, they're not taking any steps to resolve any of it. And so that can be really frustrating and confusing for you, because on the one hand, this is your partner, this is your spouse, you love this person, you've invested in them, but then at the same time, they say that they love you, they say the right things sometimes, but their actions show otherwise, right? So for this pile, your biggest sabotager is someone incredibly, incredibly close to you. The second card being the hummingbird, to me, okay, we're gonna go off the meaning of this card. So if you have these cards and you're gonna be like, that's not what that means, I get that. I'm gonna read this intuitively. To me, paired with this, the hummingbird, I'm just thinking of someone who hums, and I'm thinking of someone who's easily distracted, right? Easily distracted. So it's almost like squirrel, and then they go run to something else. And the squirrel, that thing that they're distracted by, it's never you, right? It's rarely you. It's something outside of you. It's different hobbies that they have. It's different pursuits. But what I'm really hearing is humming. Like the image I'm getting in my mind is of someone who's plugging their ears, closing their eyes and going, kind of like a child does. Like, I can't hear you. So this is someone who isn't listening to you hardly at all. They're practically ignoring you. So even when you're talking to them about the problems in the relationship, or even the problems you're having in your personal life, they just don't care. They just don't care. They may hear your words, but they're not listening, because you're a priority to them only in as much as they can use you. And I know that sounds terrible, and I know that sounds harsh, but that's what I'm getting from this. The last card we have regarding what's sabotaging you is lightning. When I'm looking into this, it reminds me of the saying that most people stumble onto the truth, but then they keep walking. And basically what that means is that, have you ever had one of those aha moments? Maybe you're reading something, you're reading a book like Conversations with God, or the Bhagavad Gita, or it could even be something like the book Self-Compassion, which is one of my favorite books. But you're reading this book and you have an aha moment, And when you have those moments, it's really important to stay with them for a while, to contemplate them, to write them down, to get into that idea and absorb the energy so that you can fully embrace everything that is incorporated in that message. But what most people do is they get that aha moment and they feel this little sting of intuition in their chest, and then they just flip to the next page. Like, they don't allow themselves permission to stay with that idea and just really contemplate it and let it stick. They're just moving on. And so what's sabotaging you is that you've been getting these bolts of lightning. You've been getting these flashes of insight. You've been getting these flashes of wisdom, these flashes of intuition, and you notice it and you recognize it when it happens, but then you keep walking, you keep moving. So you're not giving yourself permission to stay with the lightning when it strikes, because when it strikes, it's really important that you sit there for a while and absorb the energy. And I feel that the reason you don't do that is twofold. One is that you're just distracted. You have a lot of other things going on in your life. But the second thing is that I feel like you're afraid of what these messages are telling you, because these messages, these flashes probably are warning you about this situation with your spouse or your partner. You are getting these intuitive hits that are saying, this isn't healthy. This isn't healthy, babe. Like, you got to pay attention to what's going on. You may even be getting intuitive hits that this person isn't being faithful to you or isn't being honest in you somehow. But that's so uncomfortable. And you even feel bad for thinking it. So you just wipe it off and you don't listen to that intuition. So I want you to remember that your intuition is always on your side. Your intuition picks up on little hints and details that are so subtle and are written on our spouse's face or written in the energy. They're so subtle that consciously we don't pick it up, but subconsciously we do. So remember that your intuition is the voice of your spirit. It's really the voice of your brain that's telling you, hey, we picked up on this thing. You need to go check it out. Like, this is major, 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 major. Go check it out. This doesn't feel good. This is off. Something's wrong. So when that comes up, definitely pay attention. Your intuition is always working in your favor. So when it speaks up, listen, even if it's uncomfortable. Whenever your intuition's putting up red flags, it's there for a reason, okay? So let's take a look at your other cards. So your other cards are the Eight of Wands, Nine of Pentacles in reverse, the Prince of Swords in reverse, the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, and the World in reverse. Wow, you guys have a lot of reversals, so clearly there are a lot of blocks going on here. I'm sorry that if this is a little crooked on your screen. Okay, so the Eight of Wands represents a ton of things coming to you at once. And wow, so this to me seems chaotic. In my mind's eye, I'm seeing this as a bunch of swords. So these are things coming at you that hurt. And it may be that you've already found out a lot of things about your partner that were hurtful. Or it may even just be your intuition acting up on several different things. And again, it's hurtful. So you're not in a balanced relationship. And that's why this is so overwhelming. And that's why so many of these arrows that are coming at you, they hurt. And it's a lot at once. Nine of Pentacles, when it's right side up, it shows a woman who's very put together. She's wealthy. It's believed that she's probably a business owner. She owns some vineyards. She's probably the owner of a winery. You know, she's very wealthy. She's well-to-do. She's intelligent when it comes to business and finances. She has her act together in a very intimidating way. We'll put it that way. But when it's in reverse, to me, it means that this is probably something that you've strived for. I feel that you're a very ambitious career woman. And I don't mean career in that your career is your whole life, although for some of you it may be. It's more that you just want to have a nice life and you want to contribute to society and you want to do work that is purposeful and meaningful to you. So you do have big dreams, you do have aspirations, and this is something that you would love to do. This is who you would like to be. But because of how unsupported you feel in your relationship and because of the monetary sacrifices and investment you've made in your spouse, this is becoming less and less likely. Like, I feel like you've poured a lot of money into this experience, into this relationship, and you're at a point now where you're wondering if you're ever going to get that investment back. And I feel like you've invested so much into this relationship that even though there's a part of you that wants to walk away, a bigger part of you wants to stay and ride it out because of how much you've invested. And not just monetarily, you've also invested a lot in terms of your time, your energy, your praise, your belief in this person. There's a lot that's been invested. And so you're probably feeling, when it comes to that investment, that you are upside down. Next card we have is the Prince of Swords, and this represents actually the Knight of Swords in typical tarot. So right side up, this is someone who is lunging into something. He's running into something. He's going full speed ahead. He's kind of careless, actually. And with this in reverse, it tells me that I feel like in the beginning of this relationship, I feel like things happened fast. I think that you threw caution to the wind. I feel like this person gave you such butterflies and made your heart pound so fast. It was this magnetic, wonderful, magical attraction that just seemed so unreal, but that faded over time. And who you thought this person was isn't who he turned out to be. So the direction that you were rushing in with this person is now questionable, and you guys aren't rushing towards anything anymore, right? Like, you thought when it came to his goal and his dream that he was full speed ahead, because that's how he presented himself at the beginning of this relationship. He presented himself as someone who is driven and ambitious and couldn't wait to succeed, and you believed him and you probably loved that about him. And then as you guys got more serious and time went on, his ambition just went away or diminished significantly. And he might have, like I said earlier, shiny object syndrome, where other things get his attention, but he doesn't seem to really hold on to any specific interest for any length of time, at least not long enough to see an investment or something paid back on that. So the next card I have for you is the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. And when this is right side up, this is someone who is making money and he's doing it happily. And he's very concentrated. He's very focused. And of course, this is in reverse. So this is telling us that the person that you're with is not that focused. He's not that invested in his dream and his goal anymore. Even if he says that he is, Tarot is calling him out. Tarot is telling you that that's not the case. And then the wheel, we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And when the Wheel of Fortune's right side up, the Wheel of Fortune always represents karma. At least that's how most people see it. And when it's right side up, it means good things are coming your way. So your generosity is going to be repaid. The blessings that you've been hoping for, the prayers that you've been putting out into the universe, they're all about to be answered. They're all about to be realized. But in reverse, this is telling you that this is not going to get better. As long as you continue to stay in a situation where your finances are not respected, where your time is not respected, where your energy is not respected, where you are not respected, you cannot gain anything good out of this. You can't have a reading where all of these are right side up because the energies of this relationship don't allow for this. Because this is what you want. This is what you thought you signed up for, right? You thought that you were getting all of these good things coming at you. You thought that you were going to be this wonderful, intelligent investor in this person's life. You felt that he was ambitious and driven and he was going full speed ahead in your relationship and in his dream and goals. You really thought that the two of you were going to form this amazing team. You were going to make money together. You're going to make your dreams come true. Maybe your dreams were as simple as buying a home together, starting a family. But I feel like it was more than that. I feel like I just feel like someone had a big dream, and that's what you were taken in by. And then all of that would lead to good things coming to you. But because this person's toxic and he or she's given up on themselves and they're not invested in themselves and their dream or your relationship, like they're not making the right choices, there's no payoff in this for you. This continues to be a bad, disheartening situation for you. And there may be some good times in the relationship. There may be moments, glimpses of joy, but they don't last. So this person's going to continue to cost you money. They're going to continue to cost you energy. They're going to continue to cost you your dreams because they're not going to change. They're not going to change. And I think you need to hear that. So this is what you're in for in the long run if you choose to stay in that relationship. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at a couple more cards. Here we have Get Grounded and Protection. Oh my goodness, I don't think I could have pulled better cards. So the very first card says Get Grounded. Empaths, which you are, highly sensitives, which you are, connect with nature. My wonderful, beautiful empath and intuitive soul, you need to start breaking yourself free from this situation. You need to start getting away from your toxic beloved, because you love him or her. This person does not love you back. And you know how I know that? Because he or she doesn't respect you. And respect is a form of love. Don't ever forget that. If someone doesn't respect you, they don't love you. They may need you. They may love what they get out of the relationship. They may love the toys and the benefits that you come with, but they don't value you as a person. So start getting grounded. Okay, start getting grounded. So you can do this through meditation. You can do this through going through walks in nature. Find a flower garden somewhere like a nursery and start walking through that and allow nature to heal you. Find places where you can cry it out and where you can feel your connection to the elements. The image that I'm getting in my mind right now is of a woman who is walking in what appears to be a nursery, because it does look like it's indoors. Probably there's all these plants around, there's a little water fountain, and I see this person becoming emotional, and what I actually see are all these elementals, like fairies specifically, around her that are concerned for her. So you need to be around that energy where you can feel other beings who have compassion towards you, who genuinely love you, even if they don't know you that well. Like you're going into this beautiful natural environment or nature-friendly environment, and you're sad and you're distressed, and the trees and the flowers and the bushes and the fairies that watch over them are like, oh, what's wrong? Why is she so sad? Why are you so sad? They care about you. That's why they want to know. Right? And there's probably going to be more care and love and compassion there than what you feel when you're with your spouse or partner, right? So go to the places where you can feel that connection. And if you don't feel that connection, it's okay. You can manufacture it by sitting on the ground or sitting on a bench, whatever works, and placing your feet firmly on the ground and just noticing your connection to the earth. And you don't have to be barefoot, but you can if you want to. Different strokes for different folks, right? And just place your attention there on the ground. And just notice how it feels to have earth energy running up the heels of your feet, up through your legs, up all the way through your waist and your back until it gets all the way to the top of your head, and then runs back down your spine on the other side, you know, all the way from the top of your head back down your chest, down your stomach, down your legs. So you kind of have this loop going of earth energy, and just sit with that and notice how that feels. And you can imagine this energy running through you as a source of golden light or red light. Typically people recommend red light for earth energy, but it can be any light that you need. Green light works great. And just imagine that as this energy is moving up through you, it's filling you up with love and peace. And I want to say permission to release what's in you. And as this energy is going back down, it is taking with it those feelings of hurt, those feelings of having lost yourself. It's taking that with it. So it's almost as if this light serves as a magnet. And all of those parts of you that feel insecure and feel hurt, those are magnets too. And so they're being attracted to that light. And so this light acts as a magnet, pulls all those emotions and insecurities to it, and boom, goes down into the ground. It's pulling it out of your body into the ground where it can be transmuted. Kind of like fertilizer. You know, fertilizer is a bunch of crap. It's literally a bunch of crap that goes into the earth. It gets transmuted into nutrients, and then it's actually something that we use to plant flowers and food and make something beautiful and nutritious out of. And that's what your negative emotions can do. Your negative emotions, once they're purified, can create something beautiful inside of you and create something beautiful in the earth too. So get grounded, my friend. And then the next card I have, and I love that I pulled this for this particular spread, protection. Call back your power. Cut the cord. Soul retrieval. Soul retrieval is calling back to you all the parts of your soul that has been lost along your journey. The idea is that whenever we go through something traumatized, a piece of our soul kind of splits. And it stays in that point in time. It stays in that energy of when the trauma happened. And that's when we can start to lose our power. So it's why we get so fatigued or depressed or whatever it is. It's why we have different triggers. And so by meditating and making it our intention to call our power back, we do in fact call that part of ourselves back so we can become more whole and more full. But I also like this cut the cords, because you do need to cut cords with anyone or anything that is toxic. You can cut cords with unhealthy food even. You can, of course, cut cords with unhealthy and toxic relationships. So this whole spread, my dear, this is very much about you being protected, you protecting your energy, you becoming safe, and you becoming whole again, so that you understand that you matter, you're significant, you're worthwhile, you have a purpose. And in order for you to gain the strength to leave this bad situation, it'll be helpful. It's not completely necessary, but it is helpful to get to the point where you remember that you matter, where you do prioritize yourself, where you remember that you had a dream and you were meant to become this woman right here. This woman who is gorgeous and well-dressed and sophisticated and intelligent and wise, who strikes fear into the hearts of men for the right reason, not because she's a bitch, but because like she knows her stuff. Like if someone's gonna lie to her and someone's gonna try to pull one over on her because she's a woman, she's going to look them straight in the eyes and be like, you're not playing this game with me. I know what's fair, I know what's unfair, and I know how business runs, and you're not going to swindle me. She stands for fairness, she stands for justice, and she's wise, and she's amazing. She's a very successful businesswoman, and she's probably had some failures, and she's taken all of her failures, she's learned from them and turned them into success, and that's why she owns this empire. That's who you're meant to be. And maybe not on this big of a scale, but still the archetype of this, the energy of this is who you're meant to be. Confident, well-to-do, the type of wealth that you're comfortable with, that's what you're allowed to have. Intelligence, maybe you do start a business, or maybe you advance your career to a point that you're very comfortable with, that you're happy with. So this is who you were meant to be. And you know that on some level, right? So you have to cut cords with that person. and you have to cut spirit cords, and you have to create some actual separation between you and that person so that you can call your power back, so you can protect yourself and move forward in a direction that's right for you. Your affirmation card is, when I'm in a state of appreciation, I'm in a vibrational alignment with my true love nature. Okay, so when we're looking at this card, the appreciation that you would do well to dive into is all of the things that you appreciate about yourself. And I also want to give a little bit of a warning that you might look at this and want to find all the things that you can appreciate about your spouse or your partner, hoping that if you can put a positive spin on things, it will make things more tolerable, that it will somehow magically correct this situation. And that's not what's going to happen. There's a real danger in trying to apply positive thinking and a positive attitude and positive affirmations to a toxic situation. And this is a toxic situation. And what can happen is that as we start saying all these positive things and as we find things to be grateful for in our spouse, they don't change. Those people stay exactly the same. But we kind of put ourselves in this hypnotic lull where we start to be comfortable, get comfortable with the abuse. And that's not okay. So when it comes to positive thinking and positive affirmations, you need to be wise in the way that you're using them. And the best way to use them will always be as a reflection of yourself. So it is perfectly safe to use this affirmation when the appreciation is appreciation of yourself and the things in your life outside this relationship that are going well. So it can be appreciation for your job. It can be appreciation for your friends. It can be appreciation just to be alive. It could be appreciation that you notice the toxicity in this, right? So there are many different things that you can be grateful for. And as you find things that you appreciate about yourself, this will allow you to build your own confidence, to become confident in yourself, to trust yourself enough to walk away from this and know that you have everything within you to heal and to bounce back from this situation. And this type of experience will allow you to be more mindful, to be more present, to be more aware when you're ready to look for another partner, which may not be for a while, but you'll take this lesson, you'll take the experience, and you'll know what type of flags to look for the next time. You'll know to slow things down and not speed them up in the next relationship. You'll know not to focus on lip service. You'll know to take a step back and let people prove who they are. You'll learn a lot from this experience. So in the meantime, work on building yourself. Like your advice card said, get grounded, call your power back, be appreciative of yourself. So when I'm in a state of appreciation, I'm in a vibrational alignment with my true love nature. And what I also feel like this is saying is as you appreciate yourself, as you get your strength and yourself back, you do become in alignment for your true love nature, but also for your true love. Whoever he or she is, that person's out there. And maybe he or she's going through some things right now too. So you guys aren't in a vibrational match yet. You're not there yet, but you will be, right? So your job right now is to focus on you, to get yourself whole enough, to get yourself grounded, or not whole enough, to get yourself whole, to get yourself grounded, to look out for yourself, and to know that you're worth it, you're worth respect, you're worth sincere love, you're worth every minute of time you put in yourself, every amount of money that you put in yourself. You're worth every investment that you put in yourself. You don't have to keep investing in someone else, all right? So I do hope that you found this reading helpful. If so, please remember to give it a like. And if you'd like, you can put a comment in the comment section down below. Tell me what pile you chose. Tell me how it worked out for you. And yeah, I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, group number 5, let's go ahead and see what your cards have in store for you. So first we have Curse, followed by the Rainbow, and next we have Thunder. All right, well, so when we're asking what is sabotaging you, we see right off the bat that this is a curse. And so as I'm tuning into this, I feel like this is a generational curse. So this is a belief system and an actual bona fide curse, which means a negative energy attachment that's been attached to your family for quite some time. I feel like this goes, for most of you, this goes back 3 generations or further. And when I'm looking into this, as I'm feeling into this, I feel a lot of toxicity. So this isn't the type of curse that affects just one area of your life or your family's life even. This is several different areas. So this is relationships. And by relationships, I don't necessarily mean romantic relationships, although I see that too, because what I'm seeing for most of you is you came from families in which your parents were fighting a lot. So for some of you, it was your mom that instigated things more. For some of you, for the rest, it may have been your dad. And then for others, it was just a bad mix where both your mom and dad seemed to do everything they could to get on each other's nerves. So there's that going on. But there's also relationships in terms of, like, if your parents weren't healthy, they probably didn't set healthy boundaries with other friends and family members. And so they weren't able to hold on to tight friendships either. So this feels like there's a lot of drama really around relationships. And then also there is problem with finances. I'm also seeing poor diets for a lot of you. So poor health. The health isn't necessarily a different disease or ailment that's passed down. This is very much about not taking proper care of themselves, so not having proper nutrition and that sort of a thing. So there's just a lot happening in this generational curse for many of you. So when we're asking the question, what sabotages you, it is that generational curse. So if you're one of those people where you know that you came from a pretty crappy background, but you don't want to blame that, like you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to say, well, I'm an adult now, and so this doesn't matter anymore. Believe me, it matters, because what you're taught when you're a child is what you're programmed with. And so you're taught to think that that's kind of normal. You find yourself stuck in a pattern. And even if you are financially responsible and you are better at relationships, you probably find that somehow you end up in similar situations, similar financial situations that your family got caught up in, or you end up in relationships that are unhealthy, just that kind of perpetuate the toxic energy that you noticed with your family members. So this is an energetic pattern that's continuing through your lifeline as well. So there is a generational curse there. It's why you get so confused as far as there's times when you make the right decision, like you made the right call and you know this, and yet things don't work out. A curse, especially this generational curse, is why that's happening. Next card we have is the Rainbow. And when I think about the rainbow in terms of how are you being sabotaged, I feel as if a rainbow often represents hope, right? It represents some type of promise of things getting better. And it also signifies the end of the storm, or maybe a break in the storm. And so I feel like what happens with this curse is that you have this little bit of hope that's dangled in front of you, and you feel as if you can breathe again, and you feel as if things are going to get better. And before you know it, boom, here comes the storm again, right? Here comes the thunder. So that's one of the ways the curse is affecting you, is that you feel like things are going to get better. You're really hopeful, then the rug is pulled out from under you. And the Thunder card, I mean, this is just, these are things that are loud. This represents a storm. And it goes back to this, like when you think things are going to get better, here comes the storm again. So it just, it keeps resurfacing. It keeps coming back. And of course, thunder is loud and scary. So as I'm tuning into this, for some of you, this is literal when it comes to noise. Because it's like you get home and you want to relax, but the TV is on or someone's playing video games. People are yelling at each other. It's not quiet. You can't seem to find a space where it's just quiet that'll allow you to unwind and relax. You might even make yourself a nice bubble bath with some candles, maybe try to play some light music, and you still hear the sounds of something loud overpowering the nice little spa date that you tried to make yourself. So this, I feel like for a lot of you, it is literal noise. And for some of you, it is about that storm that keeps resurfacing. Okay. So those are your 3 cards as far as what's sabotaging you. And let's dive into that a little bit deeper. Okay. So your first card is Temperance. Next card is the World in reverse, followed by the Ace of Cups, followed by the Queen of Cups, and next we have the Empress in reverse. Okay, so whenever you have cards that appear this way, what it's showing you is where your blocks are. So obviously all of these are showing some type of block. When a card shows up in reverse, it also means that there is the capacity for you to have this thing, right? So for example, this card that I'm pointing up, it's the Ace of Cups. It's in reverse, which means you feel empty, but that means that you actually have the opportunity to feel full, to be whole. So let's go ahead and take a deeper look at these cards and see what they have to say in regards to why you're being sabotaged and how you can fix that. So the very first card we have is Temperance, and Temperance is about living within your means. It's very much about balance, but it's also, there's a strong message in Temperance, which is do not overindulge. And so right away we see that there's this advice that's being given to you, which is don't overindulge, don't overspend. When I'm tuning into this though, I feel like there's some type of addiction that you're dealing with. And I mean, for some of you it may be drinking, but I'm not really picking up on that. This feels more like things that you're spending your money on. So it could be a shopping addiction, but I feel like it might be a specific thing that you're buying, like purses. You know, some people have a purse fetish. So we see that some type of addiction and not being able to live within your means is some type of a problem. The next card we have is the World in reverse. I feel like your world feels like this dark, lonely place, but what's interesting is so many of you are ambitious. Like there is something that you're going after that you want to succeed at. And so while the world is very topsy-turvy for you, you're not giving up. You're like, nope, I have shit to do. Like I've got goals I gotta meet. You're very driven. You're very driven. And it's interesting because the world around you, like it does feel dark and it doesn't even feel hopeless for you. That's what's interesting is I think that you're maybe cynical, and I feel like you're a dreamer though, so you keep putting your best foot forward even though it gets stepped on, and then you just put your best foot forward again. So even the world right now for you is a place that you're uncertain about, and you don't necessarily feel, I want to say, loved, like you don't feel comforted, like there is some scary stuff happening. You're just so driven, so you keep moving forward anyway. So you're like, yeah, the world is scary, yeah, things aren't working out the way that I want to, but you know what, I'm gonna keep moving forward. I've got a goal, I've got dreams, I've got things that I want to accomplish in this life, so I am moving forward. So that's cool because you're not actually allowing the the scariness of your environment, of your coworkers or whatever, to really get to you. They do get to you, but you don't allow them to keep you down. So that's one way that the curse is actually trying to affect you, but you're not allowing it. So good job, guys. Next card I have for you is the Ace of Cups in reverse, and this is about your energy being depleted, and I feel like that happens for you a lot. I feel like you feel fatigued a lot, tired a lot. You feel as if so much of your energy is being poured into thousands of different things all the time, some of them completely random. It's almost like you don't have control over your own focus. You don't have control over your own energy. And the image that I'm getting in my mind is of someone who has, it's going to sound weird, but it's like someone who has all these holes in them, and their energy is just pouring out, kind of like what we see in this photo right here. So just all of this energy pouring out of you, being depleted. And then what's interesting is you get on yourself about this. Like, you get mad at yourself, or you get frustrated with yourself for being so tired, because you don't want to be tired, and you get frustrated because you have this brain fog, and you don't want to have brain fog, which is understandable. But if you don't have energy, because your energy is constantly being poured out to other places, if you're empty, how are you supposed to have more energy? If it keeps pouring out into random places, especially, right? So the message here is to be more focused and be more direct on where you want to send your energy. Because this is, of course, part of a curse, right? We see from the very beginning how you're being sabotaged. But this is a part that seems manageable. So what you may want to do, guys, is over the next few days, over the next week or so, really pay attention to where your energy is going. And figure out, how often are you checking social media? What type of posts are you responding to? Who is it that you talk to on a daily basis? How do those interactions feel? Is there a lot of gossip and toxicity on those interactions? Or are they actually helpful? Are they beneficial? Are they positive? Like, what's your interaction with these people like? What's your interaction like with the world? How is your diet? How do you eat? Just pay attention to all of it. Are you eating mindfully or mindlessly? What's that experience like when you sit down to have a meal? So just pay attention to all of it. And after a few days, I want you to write down 5 different areas in which you could be more focused. Like, what 5 areas deserve your focus, and how can you be better? How can you be more disciplined, motivated? Well, we usually start with motivation. How do you get more motivated and then disciplined to stay focused on those 5 areas? And remember, you're going to slip sometimes, like we all do, but then you just, you slip up, and maybe the slip up lasts for a few hours, few days, doesn't matter, and you pull yourself back, right? You get back into that. So that's what this card is saying, is you're being sabotaged really by kind of this ADD thing you've got going on, this shiny object syndrome. You just need to learn to pull your focus back onto the things that matter, okay? Next card we have for you is the Queen of Cups in reverse. When the Queen of Cups is right side up, she's a very healthy, intuitive woman. When she's in reverse, she's still intuitive, but she might be so empathic that it hurts her. So, or highly sensitive. She might be a highly sensitive person. So an empath, for those of you who don't know, is someone who can feel the emotions of other people. So empaths are typically really overwhelmed when they're in situations that require them to be more social. So an empath might have a hard time being at a party, and most empaths don't like loud noises, and highly sensitive people don't like loud noises either. So they're going to be sensitive to that. So this Queen of Cups is most likely an empath. So you're an empath. And remember how we were just talking about those holes that allow your energy to pour out? What can be uncomfortable is that those same holes can take energy in. So if you're an empath, you're taking energy in from the people around you, and that's why you're able to feel their feelings. It's why when someone comes up to you and they may have a big smile on their face and they're telling you how great their life is, even though they're telling you this thing, and even though their body language and everything matches the story they're telling you, there's something inside of you that just knows this person is actually quite sad, or maybe quite angry, or isn't being truthful. Because you can feel their feelings. You can feel that they're being insincere, right? It's a form of intuition. So as the Queen of Cups, you're highly empathic and you may not know how to manage that. You're a highly sensitive person, so loud noises and anything overstimulating might be too much for you. And this isn't part of a curse. It's nothing like that. But it is sabotaging you because you just haven't learned how to manage that better. The next card I have for you is the Empress in reverse. For some of you, this is very literal. This is very much about the mother figure in your life and how toxic she is. And she's narcissistic. She's maybe sociopathic even, but she puts you down and she's not nice and she's not loving to you. So this may not be your physical mom. This may be someone who's mom-like. This could be a mother-in-law, but this is going to be a motherly figure for most of you. But this is someone who's just unhealthy and she wants to be catered to and praised all the time. And if you experience any type of success in your life, it's almost like she just kind of shrugs it off and she's like, oh, well, whatever. Because it's not her success. She's not going to join with you because it's not hers, and she may even put you down. She may even diminish your success because she's jealous of it or she sincerely does not care. So I don't feel like the advice in this one is to cut her off, although for some of you, you may need to, but it's more like limit your time with her, set strong boundaries. Don't come to her with your dreams and aspirations and what you're reaching for. Even if you're going to lose weight, don't tell her that because she's going to be negative about it. And when you do lose weight and you're looking better and feeling better, she's going to be negative about that too. So just keep your goals to yourself. You have to have secrets from this woman, not because you're secretive and not because you're super private, although maybe you are, but because she's going to destroy those dreams. Like, she's perpetuating the curse. She's perpetuating the curse because curses can be spoken by words and intention. So these are all the different ways that you are being sabotaged. But let's go ahead and take a look at your last two cards, which are, let me go ahead and move these out of the way. Okay. So your last two cards, which kind of serve as advice, is Mirror. It says, who or what is triggering you? Well, we kind of already figured that out, didn't we? It's the mom-like figure. But for some of you, it's going to be your spouse. It could even be your kids. It's your coworker. So in addition to this mom-like figure, there is someone else who's triggering you. So just be aware of that. And then the next card we have is Warrior Woman. Have you answered your deepest calling? What I like about this image is, okay, I want you guys to burn this image in your mind because this is how I want you to see yourself when you have to go into uncomfortable social situations. I want you to envision that you do have this spiritual sword near you. I don't want you to envision that you're surrounded by all this pink light. I want you to feel so protected and safe that you have your own back, that you can stand up for yourself if you need to, should an uncomfortable situation arise in a social situation. And also remember that you can leave at any time, right? If you go to a social gathering and it's not working out for you, you can leave. Even if you feel like you're being rude about it, you can still leave, right? So if it's too much, you still have that choice. Like, the power is in your hands. So just keep that in mind. But the reason I want you to focus on this is because I want you to feel powerful. I want you to feel confident in yourself. And when you're an empath who feels generally empty and depleted of energy, and then you're soaking up toxic energy from other people, that's clearly not a good situation. So you need to see yourself as this warrior woman who's badass, who has her own back. And if you start to absorb the energy of other people, you just say the simple mantra, which is, I'm not letting that in. I'm not letting that in. And another mantra that's been really, or affirmation, I should say, that's been really helpful for me is, I am divinely guided and protected. I used to have a ridiculous fear of heights, specifically, what are those things called? Ski lifts. I used to go to the fair with my ex-boyfriend, and he would always make me go on ski lifts, even though he knew I hated it. Like, I just hate that feeling of being suspended, moving very, 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 very slowly on those ski lifts up in the air. Hated those. So I started to say this mantra in my mind over and over again, like, I'm divinely guided and protected. I'm divinely guided and protected. I'm divinely guided and protected. And I got to the point where those things don't bother me anymore. Like, I can go on the ski lifts. I still don't like them, but I'm not afraid of them anymore. So that's an affirmation that's worked for me. So maybe we try that out and see if it works for you. And if it doesn't, just come up with another one. Okay. So again, find out who's triggering you, and you may have to limit your exposure to who or what is triggering you if you can't limit your exposure, or if you find that what's triggering you is something that you need more professional help to get through, then obviously you want to look into counseling or seeing a healthcare professional, right? Or seeing a mental health coach, or professional is what I should say, not a coach, mental health professional, right? So be sure to do that. And again, like, see yourself as a confident warrior woman, and that's going to be very helpful for you. All right, your last card is going to be your affirmation, and this says, I am kind and loving toward others while creating clear boundaries that protect my good feeling emotions. Wow, that's a wonderful affirmation for my little empaths and HSPs out there who are kind and loving towards other people, but have a hard time setting boundaries. So just remember, boundaries are created to protect you so that you can protect your good feeling emotions, right? So you don't have to let people step all over you. So really think about what your boundaries are. Think about how healthy relationships look, what healthy boundaries need to look like for you. Healthy boundary for you might even be if a friend calls you up and they're like, hey, you want to go out for lunch? And you say, yes, I would love to, but I can only be there for 30 minutes. And maybe this is a friend who loves to push the boundaries with you. So even though you tell her, I have to be gone in 30 minutes, she'll keep you 40 minutes or an hour, whatever it is. So setting a boundary means that you're communicating, I can only stay for 30 minutes. And the moment that 30 minutes is up, you're telling her how wonderful it was to meet up with her. And even if she tries to get you to stay longer, you say to her, I'm sorry, I thought I made it clear. I can really only stay for 30 minutes. I've got to go. It was wonderful to see you, though. Let's do this again sometime, right? So you're not being a jerk about it. You're being as courteous as possible, but you're still holding on to those boundaries, all right? So I hope that you found this helpful. And if you did, please remember to give this a like. And if you so desire, you can leave a comment in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.